I see you, Gumbo. Little Miss Gumbo.
Well, fuck them. That network sucks.
Did you get my cock pic? That's right, honey. I'm gonna scrub the stink right out of you. Of course, honey. You don't stink down there. I'm just not comfortable going down on you, okay? Goodbye.
Aí da beleza. Vai. Olha que top, mano. Cê é louco. Beleza. Vai. Vai.
I'm down. Not deep in the trenches. I see you, Gumbo. You my little Gumbo Wumbo.
Understand that there was an entire an emotional connection. It starts to be deemed as mockable. Friends, it's not going to show up with the same ramifications as something showing up as a trauma situation. Learn that busting a nut is stress relief because I learned through porn and masturbation and I learned that busting a nut is stress relief. So now you are required to be my stress relief. So there are some industries that are failing. There are industries that are just kind of going to the wayside right now. Okay, that were dominated by men. So those numbers are coming down when you come. They're declining. For example, in 2019, younger women earned 102% of younger men's earnings in New York, in Washington, D.C., and in LA, according to the Pew Research Center. Gen Z, for workers between 16 and 24, particularly in the U.S.,
Here,
the
Gumbo.
gender gap, no, particularly in the U.S. and U.K., the gender gap. So I'm going to talk about this because something that's force is really starting to piss me off. And this is actually something that's really, in general, aggravated me. It's only aggravated me because a lot of your guys' assumptions about, you know, the political alignments of trans people, it really does allow you not to understand so much of what is happening. There's some stuff that I'm seeing in my feed that is true. There's a lot of stuff that isn't, right? So let's talk about one of the things I saw. I saw a video the other day where someone, in the conversation we're having about groypers, right, decided to focus on trans maxing, right? And they made a whole video about how the truth is that Caitlyn Jenner transitioned because she's in a family of feminine people who she was jealous of, and she wants to get the attention that women get because women have it so much easier, and that's the conclusion that was reached, right? And mostly they're saying this because of Caitlyn Jenner's conservative politics. Now, what drives me insane about the way that people talk about trans people online, about when it comes to political alignments and such, is that you guys don't understand that it really isn't actually that much of a complicated thing to be both a trans woman and a conservative. And what I mean when I say that is, you think that, and I understand why you do, is accepting and celebratory and defensive of trans women. And say for the most part, probably right about that, right? That the left is more welcoming, right? I wonder if LinkedIn conservative communities. I was raised pretty conservative. I was raised Christian, evangelical, a lot of conservatives. And I've regularly been single my life. Let me repeat that. Been single. That of course, this came out partially because, people are discovering is that there's a stuff with far away that has what's it would appear that some of obvious paranoia might be somewhat justified. Right there. Because she just said something that I think is just different with me. So, she's 35, 44, so I'm 10 years older, so we're talking about talk about Gen Z. Okay. So, I too, at 35, was rarely single. I didn't grow up being conservative. Yeah, I grew up in a liberal context in a conservative state. Opposite of her. And I too, as a trans woman, was rarely single prior to 35. I got out of my last relationship in 2012. I was 30. So you see what I'm saying? We were in the same age range, and I always had a man. From the time I was 14 to the time I was fucking, 30. So I always had somebody. And so, but they were black dudes. I didn't have her experience with conservative dudes because that's not, I wasn't attracted to her. And I also wasn't even open to it. There was a very, to me, because I was so pro-black and how I was raised, being with a white man was beneath me. That's just how I was raised. That was a sellout. No. To bring a white person to home would have been an embarrassment to me, in my opinion. It would have, bringing a white man home would have been like me bringing a 10-40 home. as a trans woman. A boy who acted like a femboy, I would have been so embarrassed. I wanted my man. Of course, it's problematic. Gender expectations, blah blah blah. I was young. I had problematic gender expectations. Then, as a trans woman trying to be validated by my man, I would have never still actively went over to be my man. You had to act a certain way, be certain way. Even on the story person level, you had to perform your gender in a certain way. I'm not ready to marry at home or get family because then that is going to invalidate me, and I've been already saying I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. And get rid of this looking thing, you know. Yeah, of course. Do you see the complication there? I'm not saying it's not problematic, but I'm just trying to that same situation with race. Like, I'm not afraid as a black woman. Coming up being raised by brown sticks. You know why? Because it's like, oh, because they're going to say, and I know this is problematic, and I know this is not how you are supposed to navigate the love. I'm talking about my younger self. Because they're going to say, of course you got with a white one, because ain't no black nigga going to deal with that shit. And I'm going to say, I could give you a black nigga. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it was problematically always based on other motherfuckers. But I could read a white woman because everybody in my culture think white boys are super free. Of course they do that. They got the freedom to be free. So of course they can get in the street shit. It was everybody for real. Definitely. You gotta understand I grew up in Indiana. Those other races are doing between. It like in Houston, especially it's Latino Americans. So they're ingrained in the culture here. In Indiana, it was black and white town. In my high school, I had 2 acres. Lakeview and his sister. They were brother and sister. It was 2 acres people. So I thought this is it. And in my as far as Latino people, child, I remember Luz, she was Latina. Luz. Who knows? Like Spanish speaking Latino people, it probably looks like. It was black and white. It was not a lot of people. It was not a lot of other people, so I didn't really have to consider them too much. Like, we knew they existed, but me having to engage with their culture, engage with them in a way to where I had to think about it. I didn't do it. I didn't have to think about it. And remember, I grew up in conservative states, and so there was, I didn't meet until when we moved to Boston, we were exposed to more cultural diversity. Then we met the Portuguese girls, the Dominican girls, we met all the people, the Haitians, black people who spoke Spanish but they looked black as hell. That's when we start seeing that. I see, and this is like when I was like 9. We didn't have that. That's why some people, like when you come to certain places, they don't have the racial IQ of Africans. Yes, the racial IQ that somebody in Florida or New York or LA has, because the diversity isn't the same. It's not just ingrained in the culture. It just wasn't like that. And I think that colors how we think about it. Now, as I get older, and I'm traveling, and I'm going to California, and as a young, remember my dad lived in California, so I would go out there and meet people. Moving to Florida, when I moved into Austin when I was 9. Yeah, Florida's a melting pot. New York is a melting pot. Certain cities up there is a melting pot. In the East Coast in general, of course. When I went to Chicago, it didn't feel like a melting pot. I know it was, but the places that I was living in Chicago, like Chicago, I don't really have a super diverse, in my younger years, depiction of Chicago. You see what I'm saying? I know it's super diverse like the rest of the cities, but my experience of Chicago when I was younger, it's just that 95th Jeffrey, some of the 100s on the second side. So I knew my experience of Chicago very briefly. Very briefly. My experience of Chicago very black. Junetown. It was very black thing. Good and black. But traveling expanded my mind in regards to a lot of stuff. And so, but when I'm younger, it was very so when I went back to Indianapolis, I started to transition in Indianapolis. Bringing a white man home was not the thing. I didn't think about. I rarely ran into Asians to even date. I rarely ran into Mexicans. It was white and black. And bringing them home would have been an embarrassment for me. It would have been. I needed to bring home a tall, dark-skinned hood nigga with maybe hair. That was in my brain. That was the most masculine thing. For me to bring home. That was that I need to show off. That's what it was. Problematic, but yes, that's how I thought. So yes, so I say that because she's about to go into explanation of things that I think is her experience. I don't experience it at all.
If you are a trans woman, especially trans women who posted shit on the internet, who was engaged with dating shit on the internet, you have probably had your DMs dominated by people who would say that they have conservative politics. And the thing is, trans women are not somehow, immune to conservatism because they embody something that you would have is a contradiction to that. Quite a few transgender women actually think that their gender expression is a further extension of their conservative, politics. And I know that when I was younger, that was a little bit of what was happening with me, where
Me at home.
the conception of myself was based in basically how I was raised and the conservative community that I was raised around. Like, it's kind of funny that.
So, I can relate to this on a certain level. Blackface. So, because I was raised in the church and there was an image of womanhood that I wanted to present myself in my behavior and how I looked was a little bit more conservative. Okay? I wanted to be a classy woman. I didn't want to do any kind of sex work, of course, when I was younger. I wanted to be sexy, grown. There is a conservative way in how I wanted to present my womanhood that was only related to how I presented my womanhood. It was not politics because I was in a pro-black family, a pro-black culture. So conservatism on that, in regards to politics, no, we was real Pan-African. We was real voodoo ass bitches. We was real black Christian, like Kojic and Baptist and AME. Being pro-black, socialist, democratic, that was so rooted in the culture that I lived in. Muslim, I had Muslim in my family. So listening to Farrakhan, even though you was a Christian, being anti-Semitic, like being not fucking with Jews like that, and knowing Jews have assimilated into whiteness, that was in the culture. So politically, while the conservatism of the black community I was raised in, you had to be a certain type of respectable woman, but you still had to be pro-black. So I didn't, the way she's talking is like she had a little bit of that, kind of that political shit, and I didn't have that political. My political was radical black movement. Now, that don't mean it wasn't patriarchal.
Are you a cop?
Not a
And
cop.
so my womanhood, how I presented myself, still was in that way.
I don't have the
Think about it now.
frequency here. I don't have my tools.
Ain't that convenient? I've got some tools. Come on. Let's go meet you back at your place. And don't worry, the transponder will be ready for the job.
Because, my mom was a very powerful Harvard graduate woman, but she was also a very submissive and traditional woman. And so I got to kind of see the weird sort of dichotomy of that, like a modern woman being able to have opportunities, who was raised by a woman who was traditional, but understood that both as a black woman and as a black person and a black woman, that education was discouraged from them, right? So she got an education. My grandma she was a teacher, right? There's a school named after her, actually. And, it's one of those things where she took advantage of the progressivism that was happening in society, but at the same time, she was a conservative Christian woman who ultimately decided to be submissive to my father, right? And so I really internalized a lot of that. Mostly just because I think for a while, because of my reference point, it was what I felt I had to do, right? But people don't really understand that trans women, this should be really fucking obvious. Trans women also grow up in isolated conservative communities where they're likely to adhere to the ideas of people around them. You think that
That's specific to
a trans woman being a trans woman would mean that they wouldn't be conservative, but what you don't understand is that so many trans women are conservative. It's not even that they're necessarily doing pygmy shit, but that's a big part of it. is that they are conservatives, but have carved out like an exception for why they specifically are a separate entity from left-leaning trans women, right? I've known a lot of gun-toting trans women. I've known a lot of libertarian-ass trans women, and it aggravates me that so many people are shocked by like the clear whites of society, because these people from my early days, and this is gonna make some people giggle if you understand the sort of communities that this was. From my days on Yahoo groups, right? It was not uncommon for trans women to, first of all, most of these places are white. Like, most of these spaces are very, very white. And frankly, a lot of modern, like, trans advice, it does have a lot of white supremacy within it, right?
Okay. She brought up Yahoo Chat. Is this from TikTok? No. This is on her Instagram, Cablet's Instagram. So, in this, I think this goes back to why we need more stories where you need to listen to different people, because she's given a nuance that I could never give you. Okay? So we come from, even though I'm 10 years older than her, we come from almost 10 years. We come from different areas of time. But there's certain times that it was overlapping. So she's talking about Yahoo Chat. So she was young going into these groups. She was already in my 20s. She was in her teens, okay? She's saying that in those spaces they were predominantly white. But I want to tell you that I was in those spaces, the spaces that I was in by choice, intentionally. Don't have that experience. What I was involved in was black as fuck. I would go to the chat room that said black trans women. I wasn't going to just the general trans chat. I didn't like that because it was white people in there. I went to the one that was specific. So my Yahoo Chat experience was black as fuck. That's where me and T.S. Madison met. That's where me and Victoria Black, that I interviewed a couple of months ago. I think it's been about a year now. Or a little less than a year. Anyway, I was very intentional about the spaces that I was in, because that was the culture I come from. I didn't value white people at all in the time that I was growing up. So it's the same. I experienced this in my younger years. Todd will tell you. We have a homegirl who, this is language that, I'm just going to say the language because this is the language that we would use back then. She was kind of whitewashed. Like, we could tell that her investment in, and remember, one of the motherfuckers I hate when people act like, when I say you act white or you whitewash, that's just about how you talk.
She used to turn her nose up at everything, but now she runs to Humble. With real beef, fresh veggies, and fat-crafted recipes, Fresh Fat gives her what she loves and what she needs. She's gonna
who the fuck you are, how you move in the world. It ain't just how you talk. I know tons of proper speaking ass black people that I can tell they love being black. Bitch, it's more than just how you talk. When I say you act white, bitch, it's all this about you. How you dress, how you talk, your type of grammar, your type of vernacular, your type of diction that you're choosing. Bitch, it ain't just cause that. I know people hate for people that, oh, you act white, bitch. I know what it is. When I say you act white, bitch, you act white. It ain't no proper. I know a ton of educated academic motherfuckers that can speak the white people English. Well, and they still, I can tell they black as hell. Anyway, there was a girl who we befriended who we can tell she was whitewashed. We can tell that she appreciated white people more than her white culture more than her black culture. And she wasn't biracial. She was a black girl. but she grew up in the bougie side of town. And so because she was queer, she started hanging out with the white trans women. And when she started to learn that these motherfuckers was racist and the ugly shit that they could do to her, then she started hanging out with us, the hood black girls. So she just was somebody who was, I would call her whitewash. So she was similar. She has different experiences than I do, than me and Ty do. Me and Ty fuck with the black girls. And so we don't know what was going on with the white girl. So we weren't exposed. There was certain situations that I can speak to, but we weren't really heavily exposed to the conservative and the racism of white trans women. You see what I'm saying? So she would be more apt to tell you about those experiences than me because I don't like them. It's not that I don't like them, it's just that I don't value them. And so I'm not coming to the club to see them, I'm coming to the club to see the black girl. You see what I'm saying? When I come to the drag show, I'm not coming to see the white girls. I'm coming to see the one black girl on the show. And when she performed, I'm headed out. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of how it was. I appreciated the black girl. When I come to the club, I'm not going to the white gay club. I'm going to even here in Houston. I have never been to the white gay club. I've never been to South Beach. I've never set foot in there. I'm going to where the niggas is at. I'm not going. I don't appreciate that in the way that some people do. And I'm unapologetic about that. That's just how I was raised. I like being black. I like black culture. I like the good, the bad, the ugly about black people. And so it doesn't annoy me. And I can tell some people it annoys them. And it's not about me not being cultured and I don't want to learn about other people. It's just that I like my fucking people. I like my culture. And so when I come into a city, I want to know where are they living. I want to know that. And so I'm not exposed to a particular level of conservative trans girls. Now, where it shows up for me, where it makes it not a big chunk when it comes to trans being conservative, is how pick me there are. There are trans girls that I have met that are pick me as hell, that are black girls that are pick me. They'll let a nigga beat their ass. They'll let they just will be that kind of subservient, submissive woman because that's how women are supposed to be. And then they will say that if you don't act like that, then you are a man. They real turfy. So I do understand what she's saying, but I just have it because I'm not in the space with white girls. I don't see that part of them. I see the more patriarchal pick me part of the trans girls that I engage with because they're usually black. You get what I'm saying? So it's not gonna have that kind of same racial tone as opposed to somebody like Kat who will go into these white spaces and see the racist and the patriarchal pick me trans girl who she's talking about. This was a whole different perspective, and I thank her for in the comments. I say, what I say. I say this is a lot to chew on and interesting insight. I don't think I was privy to this perspective of experiences because I wasn't in a lot of trans spaces that were dominated by white people intentionally. In the Midwest and the South, we are really socially segregated. So I don't really come in contact with conservative white trans women until I was like in my 20s. And even then, it was because I was working with her, I was working in like a photo shoot situation. Because even in the Yahoo chat days, I was in black trans chat. And so it was nothing but trans girls in there. White girls weren't in there like that. And so Kat responded. She says, that makes a lot of sense. Your comment section was definitely the closest I got to that during that time. Most of the trans spaces online I found quickly were dominated by white trans women who
Alright, let's get the EMP in the LAPV to HLAR. The LAPV is still at the safe house on North Calafia. Obviously, this is a malware-style attack, so we need to get the Trojan in without it being identified. It's a genuine Merryweather insurgent with no obvious signs of tampering, so once it's in place, it shouldn't be flagged as suspicious. Until it's too late, that is. We're providing you with suppressed firearms to make a minimum noise impact when dealing with guards. The rest is up to you. If there are guards in each other's sight lines, you need to coordinate your takedowns. Standard procedure for a gang of no-good criminals like us, I'm sure, but I thought worth a mention. This is almost my favorite part of the process, putting on the finishing touches. It's like the night before Christmas, or the morning before a test. Yeah, I got a degree. In prison. The anticipation is killing me, so I guess we're all in danger. You'll be happy to know we got a good price for the Hydra. That shit's a collector's item. Real nostalgic appeal. I just hope it gets used what it was built for, you know? And it's out there bombing orphanages instead of sitting in mothballs appreciating in value. The buyer does have a questionable human rights record, mind you. So here's hoping he's not just rolling it out for air shows.
Incredibly privileged and frequently transitioned after building their careers. Absolutely, totally understand, totally get that. And so that's going to be the dynamic. Because even back in the day, when you come to my comment on YouTube, you're going to see the crisscross of the country coming into my. You're going to say this is going to be a really, really black experience. I'm talking about that shit. So that's why I think why I'm talking about this is because I think it's important for you to have different perspectives of the trans experience because it gives you these little nuances that I could never give you. I don't know shit about Reuters. I don't know shit about the white female experience. So when I see a Blair White, I'm flabbergasted. I'm like, bitch, what? But from people that experiences like cats, And other people who are engulfed in white culture, for whatever reason, I've learned that there are some fucking conservative white girls. So for me, now it's not a big jump. But when I first started seeing these bitches, I'm like, how could you ever be conservative? You're a trans. But that's because I didn't understand how that is intrinsically a part of their womanhood, to be girly in the way that conservative women are girly. You see what I'm saying? To perform their womanhood the way conservative women, because that is the default. Whiteness is the default. White womanhood is the default. And we know, based on how they fucking vote, it's a 50-50 thing. Half of them is going to go over here, and half of them is going to go over there. Got it?
Definitely remember feeling like, this is so funny thinking about someone on this website anymore, but I remember feeling like I couldn't be,
Come on,
for
Elizabeth,
example,
absolutely.
Susan's place because I was a black woman, right? Because a lot of these trans spaces are dominated by white people. I used to organize, actually, a trans Facebook group. Very regularly, we would end up having racist conflict, right? It's annoying to me that so many people think.
And I remember when she was in that group, and I was not in that motherfucker. Because it was a bunch of white bitches in there, very few black girls. And that's like, it's for me. Remember that group, and I did not join it. Fish Tank, was it Fish Tank? I think it was. I think it was Fish Tank. I didn't join that fucking group. That fucking group was weird. Your Spidey Sisters will. Absolutely. I knew this wasn't for me. I'm a hood black bitch. I just so happen to be studious and a little bit academic. I'm a hood black bitch. That ain't my culture at all. Oh. It ain't my culture. And I'm not, again, I'm not ashamed of my hood upbringing. I'm also somebody who is not, who has no interest in code switching, who has no interest in being in spaces where I gotta do all of that to be included. So,
approaching the target. Now pull him outside and we'll talk logistics. We've hacked in and put the CCTV on a loop. It won't be stable for long, so you'll have to move quick. Let me show you. I'm sending you a live feed. I've transferred control of the cameras over to you. We don't have very long, so scan the area quick and make sure you know where the guards are. The guards will raise the alarm if they see anything suspicious. If the alarm goes, we're blown. Look out for their sight lines and take them out in pairs if you have to. But you only need to drop them if they're in the way. The aim is to get the insurgent to the bay at the rear of the facility. Clear a path to the bay.
I don't find value in those spaces. So I don't try to be in them. It's like,
That just because someone is trans, they're somehow also not leaning and just all of these, like, it's not be a white supremacy. So it's actually not that particularly shocking that these trans women feel this way. Listening to a lot of discourse about groomers and femboys and all this other shit, if you've ever been a young, early transitioning person, you've had probably been you've had a degree of conversation where this guy who's trying to fuck you is trying to tell you that you're a little boy. Right? Because a layer that some people don't want to discuss about some trans attraction aspects is there is a sort of like this person going through puberty kind of thing that people sometimes do fashions. And what's the sort of been about trans women is the idea that they're forming their womanhood. And some of them actually do enjoy the idea of this person forming their womanhood for their pleasure and acceptance. And then you have people who will understand that trans women are sensitive to English gender and some femboys are positive trans women. And they will use their proximity to being a boy, right, as a way to abuse them and then sexualize them. It's such a common thing that you just don't see that people are not understanding this in a way, because from my vantage point, it is one of the most predictable things. But I guess for a lot of people, it is so shocking. Yeah, a lot of people who are trans and gender assimilate are conservatives.
Okay, so I have to talk about that. Because this is self-reflection on my part, too. So I don't think there's a more gender assimilator. That, what she just described. I dress like, I feel like performance of gender is real binary. It's real, I'm a non-traditional woman, but I believe in the traditional stuff. And I want my man to perform his gender in a traditional way. I want to perform mine in a traditional way. I think in regards to the vulnerability, and we're talking about younger adolescents, I was not engaged with boys.
You'll need to hack the security panel to get the insurgent into the bay. Go to work on it.
No. It's not real. It's not real. It can't be.
Alright, the malware's installed. Pull out. There's a Merryweather team inbound. They have no reason to suspect you. Do not engage. Okay, hurry it up. We just lost
were doing that. The boys that I was engaged with, there wasn't a clash in how we wanted to perform what we was performing. You see what I'm saying? I wanted to be the girl, and they wanted to be the boy. There wasn't any conflict for us to examine. You see what I'm saying? And it might should have been. But there wasn't there wasn't any friction in that regard. There wasn't nothing being challenged. Okay? So there wasn't any kind of, they didn't need to manipulate me. Right? I'm dating dudes who identify with being boys, who don't identify with being homosexual. Now, whether the label fits or not, that's something y'all can debate for ever. I don't care. But as a black trans woman, I'm dating straight men. And I want to be the girl. And there is strict rules around black masculinity show up and black femininity show up. And I come up in the church. I come up with girls being a certain way. And there wasn't much nuance in how that was supposed to show up. And because I wasn't challenging that, there wasn't any need on either one of our part to manipulate nothing. You the girl, I'm the boy. That's how they thought. And so you're gonna act a certain way, I'm gonna act a certain way this way. You're gonna do a certain thing, especially when I was younger. Now, when I got older, was there some nuances on a sexual level? Absolutely. But as a young person,
Come on, people.
I saw you crawling down the fucking front.
Armor. Good choice.
There wasn't. You didn't need to manipulate me into shit. I want to have a girl, bitch. I'm actually offended if you try to do anything else. I'm actually offended if you try to do anything else outside of what I think a man is supposed to do. And so there is a conservatism in that. There is a conservatism in regards to how I want you to be and how I want myself to be and how we're kind of coming up in the world. That's just how I grew up. You know what I'm saying? How I saw myself as a woman. Straight men approached us because of how close to the binary we fit. Yes, that's just what it was. It wasn't no need for no manipulation. And I can see, and this is the racial nuance too. And white white boys, because of the freedom of being a white boy, they had more exposure to be able to be trainee chasers in their team. You see what I'm saying? We didn't have no fucking. I didn't need trainee chasers until I was in my 20s. Young men in their teens, they weren't fucking with trainees like that. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't like, ooh, I have created a politics around trans women at 16. Black boys weren't doing that fucking shit. They weren't black boys.
Best hit the club with me tonight. Hey, what's up? Hello? Hey, you good? Hey, that shit was fucked up last night, right?
For sure.
The tradition of binary womanhood. If your claim is I am not binary because I don't fit in those traditional rigid rules, I'm saying you are wrong because I actually do fit structurally from the lens of the traditions that I follow. And those are clearly not the rigid conditions that you follow. And so, to me, I fit various definitions of many traditions in regards to their rules of gender. But if you tell me I'm that shit, I'll tell you no. And I say I'm a drag queen, she-male, and cross-dresser to some Western frameworks and traditions by definition. But I don't claim those as a simultaneous truth. The shit's actually can be true or not. I don't claim them as a simultaneous truth. Just because somebody's framework, rules, and traditions say what I am, that's not my lens. It's actually a lie. And not the truth. To me, from my perspective,
I don't really care. Bitch, you are crazy.
New York says I was more saying that trans experiences queerness, not non-binary. Yes, non-binary means you're mixing it up, or not mixing nothing. You're outside of it. I'm not going for a specific gender. A trans woman is going for a specific side of the binary. Absolutely. And it depends on your tradition. My tradition, my religious tradition, has that is a part of my spirituality. It has nuances within its gender tradition. It's not just black and white in regards to female, male, or man and woman. It's not just black and white. There is nuances in the traditions that I follow. And so, when you decenter their traditions and accept that African traditions have more nuances in regards to womanhood and gender, and it's not based just on biology, it's based on your skills and your energy. Their tradition is what I follow. And so I don't fall outside of the binary womanhood within the tradition that I follow. Now, if I follow white supremacist, patriarchal, religious, Western ideas of gender, then yes, you might consider me non-binary, but I don't follow that. You do. Well, there's two truths, absolutely, but your truth ain't my truth. Just like a conservative person who follows a different framework, I may be a man to them. I'm not going to accept that. And I don't want you to put that name, that's on me. I don't want you to put non-binary on me. I'm not non-binary. I respect them and understand them and love and support what what they do. But that ain't me. That ain't who I am. That's how. And don't try to lump me into that. I don't like that. I don't like it. Are we on the clear? Sure. I like that. I'm okay.
Fitness and wellness. Fit irritation defense for your pubic area. Venus for pubic hair and skin. Cheese crackers made with butternut squash. Simple Mills.
Oh, we all clear. We all different. Yes. A lot of non-binary people aren't on hormone therapy. It's a lot of nuances in the difference between me and non-binary people. You know, there's a lot of nuances, and I don't want to turn this into a trans versus non-binary. I'm just really expressing that I don't consider myself non-binary. I consider myself to be a supporter of somebody, of people who want to minimize the effects of the binary. But do I adhere to the binary? Absolutely. I'm a girl. I'm a woman. I'm a girl's girl. I want to look like a woman. I want to look like
All right, let's get the EMP in the LAPV to HLAR. LAPV is still at the St. House on North Columbia.
But black women have always had this.
malware style attack, so
you know, fashion is different. But yes, I'm a subscriber to the
it's a genuine Merryweather insurgent with no obvious signs of tampering, so once it's in place, it shouldn't be flagged as suspicious until it's too late to get pissed.
MMI. We
So-
expect the
So
unexpected.
I wanted to
I'll do my best.
listen to the last which features happened. You got me into I love her analysis, and I love it because she's thoughtful and because she's different. I love the experience I learned.
This is almost my favorite part of the process, putting on the finishing touches. It's like the night before Christmas, or the morning before a test.
She experienced
I tend to agree. The anticipation is killing me, so I guess we're all in danger. So we already know we got a good price for the Hydra. Legit's a collector's item. Real nostalgic appeal. I just hope it gets used what it was built for, you know? That it's out there bombing orphanages instead of sitting in mothballs appreciating its value. But it does have a questionable human rights record, right? So here's hoping he's not just rolling it out for air shows.
girls that I can't listen. I can't. Because I'd be like, it's getting real kid this on this girl. It's getting real kid this on. But it's way more thoughtful and intelligent, and I can see her self-reflection, and she, I feel like she's trying to sell a delusion of not being, you know, conservatism, and she's not conservative, but not being exposed to that, and not giving him, she just gives a different nuance, and I don't have experience because I am not willing to play games she's playing. So this is another. So this was bringing. Can y'all thumbs up if y'all are listening? So the next conversation we're gonna go. This brings us to back. This brings it all together. I'm trying to get it. Bringing it all together. Let's go ahead and we're talking about what's not a small jump to from trans woman to conservative and why that is. You know, a woman aligning with a binary, aligning with traditional womanhood things, that's not a hard jump to be a conservative woman. It's not that hard. And let's connect it to these boys and these boys, these trans men. It's like capturing. It's right? I mean, it's easy to play. It's not allowed to simply just be wrong. That's what I mean. Okay. This is a bubble. This is a bubble. But all these bubbles of communities is built out and effective on our culture is important for us to understand why we need to learn about it. And so Gamer Gay, there was this girl who was traditionally talking about, I don't know, you know, one of the things that girls who are gamers is how women are depicted by the male gaze. Women are depicted by the male gaze in the video games. So if you remember, like back in the day, Mortal Kombat, Killer Instincts, Tekken, the girls would be half naked as fighters. You ain't got no armor on, and your skin is showing. You got your titties glued up, and you doing all this fighting with these fucking armored ass men with spikes and da 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 da. But you a girl and you got fucking a bikini on, basically, and you fighting and doing all this shit. That is for the male gaze. Nobody would, no woman fighter would be doing that for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about all the female, classic female fighting girls. Chun-Li was naked. A split. What's that little piece of fabric in between her legs? That wasn't good for kicking. You could twist that around your legs and fuck you up and trip on it. Don't wait for no fighting. I never cared about that. I just feel something.
You're approaching the target. Pull up outside and we'll talk logistics. Hold off. Do not approach the lab until everyone is in position and I'm able to break into the network. You see the EMP glowing in the trunk? We've hacked in and put the CCTV on a loop. It won't be stable for long, so you'll have to move quick. Let me show you. I'm sending you the live feed. I've transferred control of the cameras over to you. We don't have very long, so scan the area quick and make sure you know where the guards are. The guards will raise the alarm if they see anything suspicious. If the alarm goes, we're blown. Look out for their sight lines and take them out in pairs if you have to. But you only need to drop them if they're in the way. The aim is to get the insurgent to the bay at the rear of the facility. Clear a path to the bay.
Yeah. these men, were they really it's the needle switch. This is just one thing that gives the contact of this internet space right now. This one, yeah.
So, I think most of you at this point
Doing well. Keep it up. Only the guys between the gate and the garage are mission critical, but I like your thinking. Concentration is key, people. Take an amphetamine if you have one. Get familiar with your surroundings. You'll be back here soon. Visualize your goal. Let's do this. Stay quiet to keep moving.
Many videos about how I believe white people should be enslaved, and actually responded to what I was saying at the time, which is that chattel slavery is very, very different from anything that the average experienced in America. And what I started to really see through a lot of these videos is that the truth really didn't matter. But it was really bizarre because all these people in practice that, if they, believe that facts are did, a lot of them would say that they did. A lot of them would say that the truth is really important to them. And whenever they would criticize people like Vidya, it would always be, wow, I was not optimistic or anything. I just tried to get the truth out there. And this created is just so correct. It's that right now, a lot of those people who may have contained forever ago are indeed off the truth train. And it's just like that conversation we're still having today, right? We're still talking about why women need to be available sexually in the context of video games, right? It's almost like some of the things that he was saying.
You'll need to hack the security panel to get the insurgent into the bay. Go Scanners installed. Pull out.
way back when, may have had some validity. And I think the thing that got me about Anita Sarkeesian's content is that as somebody who made feminist content and didn't really watch any of what she was doing, when I did eventually get around to watching it, it was really shocking to me how, like, uncontroversial it really was, because a lot of the things that she was saying were fairly basic. I mean, Anita was basically taking some very basic feminist 101 principles and using video games as a way of having conversations about it. One of her main criticisms being the male gaze. Now, fast forward to where we are now. The new Witcher game has been released, and people look at Siri, who quite literally embodies like your standard thin, white, beautiful woman. And because she's a little grizzled in a world where, you know, she's fighting monsters and things, there are people who are angry at the cultural message of her not appealing to their sexual desires, not giving them the ability to have escapism through their video game. And alongside that conversation, we have a situation where many women in this country have effectively lost the ability to control their bodies. Back when Anita Sarkeesian was having a lot of these conversations, there was this sense that the rights that were granted to women would never go away. But fast forward, some of the same people who were making that content are now very pro-Trump and completely aligned with the idea of women losing their civil rights.
So, all right. So I want to stop it right there, because I want you, the connection that she just made, beautiful connection. We talk about trying to get young people over on our side, but you're not understanding that they're being radicalized, not just what you are, I'm pretty sure y'all are, but they're getting radicalized in a different way. You think that, oh, it's just gaming, but it's not just gaming. Like, they are having conversations, feminist conversations, and there is a backlash in their bubble about these things. And so it is an easy jump for them to go from, oh, these women are trying to change my video games, to MAGA. Do you see what I'm saying? These women are trying to change my video games in this bubble. Now the larger culture bubble, ooh, they trying to change everything. So you have to make the connection of what their culture is doing. You don't know how many times. Now, I don't play certain games, so I'm not really into military kind of games, so I don't play COD. I'm not into sports games, so I don't play Madden or 2K or shit like that. If it ain't got no future shit in it, or no dragon, or no magic, or no monsters that we gotta kill, baby, I am not playing that shit. I want to play something. I'm a Elder Scrolls kind of girl. I like multiplayer RPG kind of games. Elder Scrolls, that's one of my favorite games. Destiny, I like shit. I need futuristic. I need shit that I don't mind it being violent or shooting or magic, but it has to be some type of futuristic or magical shit going on. Because I ain't playing it if it's like GTA, no. GTA, Call of Duty, That's just what it is. It's really sad because we're here and always been in gaming and otherwise. They feel threatened by the changes of the times, and as soon as something isn't catered to them, they get besides themselves, and especially if they're white. Because soon as you, and remember, while we're talking about gender, this same type of pushback is given towards diversifying the characters, like making some characters black, making some characters Asian, making some, like when they change characters that are supposed to be Asian to white, all that kind of stuff. And while they fetishize Asian culture, you see what I'm saying? It's a bunch of shit going on in regards to how they're getting tired of us impeding on spaces that they think is theirs inherently. They call it woke immediately when it ain't all about them. Absolutely. I just got in, somebody called me woke on my video about saying that the trans master is just prison culture. I'm like, baby, you're not about to make woke an insult to me. I'm black. That language came from my culture. Woke is being educated and aware of the bullshit going on. So whatever spin you got for woke, I know you think that's supposed to be some kind of insult. It's not an insult to me. Thank you for thinking I'm woke. I know what's going on. I'm not asleep. You hoes asleep. So I'm never gonna feel. You're never going to spin woke into being something that's negative to me. Fuck you. That's something positive. In my culture, black culture, where it came from, it's a positive thing. Being woke is you know what's going on in the world. You're not asleep. So I don't know how y'all trying to spin it, how y'all trying to make it seem like it's negative, but it's not negative to me. It never will be. Yes, I'm fucking woke, gonna always be woke. If you want to be sleep, be sleep. But I'm gonna always be woke because that's our shit. You can't take it and bastardize it. Fuck you.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so this gamer shit created a bubble. And I also added they're intentionally hiding their feelings with us understanding that they feel is off-putting towards the woman they want to proximity to. Come on, well, absolutely. And understand the anonymity of gaming. Because gaming, now folks are doing streaming now because, you can watch them play the game. But a lot of times gaming is anonymous. So they can be fucking real. They can be as toxic, racist, and misogynist. If you ever are in like an open space on a RPG, multiplayer game, you hear everybody, all kinds of people calling the N word, people calling the F word, people using all kinds of slurs. You will get, because it's anonymous, you are getting real toxic, unbridled racism, unbridled sexism, unbridled whatever. Classism, all of that kind of shit. Because they will be arguing about money, they will be arguing about race, gender, all kinds of stuff. And it will be unbridled because you don't have a face. It's just voice. So you're getting it's straight with no chaser type of deal. They get to say how they think. just slept from agent, feeling great. Got his own throne, was good. Go get some coffee. And good, everybody. Hope you guys slept from agent, feeling great. Got his own throne, was good. Go get some coffee. And verse 17.
No. Yo, man. Huh? You're hilarious. You are hilarious, Ho.
Yeah, let's go, bro. Yeah, let's go, bro. Because they feel like it can't affect them. So, Remember what I talked about earlier. They're not seeing the fruits of patriarchy that our old heads did. They don't got the wealth gap. The wealth that made them have more money. They're losers. In regard to the standard. You see what I'm saying? They're younger, so they don't have the financial backing that the old heads used to have. Are y'all clocking that? So
a source familiar with ongoing conversations had a meeting on Thursday with top Disney executives at his lawyer's office in Century City, California. Jimmy was present, his attorney was present, and his manager was present, along with top Disney executives. But I hear that there was no resolution to the meeting, which means we have no indication
that they have, because, oh, you bitches can take all that feminist shit, but I still got the money. I still got the power. You see what I'm saying? I still can go out here and make a job, get a job that pays me so much times how much you make. And that's going to pull me women. That's going to give me a house. That's going to give me all the markers of a good man anyway. Remember the prison that we discussed earlier in this video. You see what I'm saying? They had more, the Gen X's and the boomers had way more patriarchal power because of money and capitalism than the current Gen Z, Gen Alpha young men have when it comes to the women. So, you know, some feminist girl coming in reading you, talking about how you broke, and she making more money than you. And it's real. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's, they knew that they knew that they had power back in the day. Where these people, they're trying to hold on to the power that the old heads has without the money. Without the money, they're trying to hold on to that power because we know that this system works in our favor. We know that this system works in our favor, you little girl gamer. And so that mentality, that misogynistic mentality, the misogynoir mentality transfers from the online space, the bubble of gaming, and as they get older, it transfers into politics. Got it?
So in answer, Casey, it wasn't really wrong for talking about that. But the thing is, because she talked about that, and even did it in such a basic way, she had to move several times.
Being
I had
harassed.
conversations with her in person, and the shit that she had to go through because she made video game commentary videos on the internet is insane.
She had to
And as
move.
the creator points out, so much
They were
of
harassing her.
these news posts is always wrong, right? People got on her for having very particular feelings about specific video games and were really all about telling her that she was specifically wrong for feeling the way that she did and not necessarily understanding the full context and yada yada yada. She doesn't get it. But then, like, they
Cut it out.
make content all the time where they are lying, where they are not actually referring to things that are real. They're based completely on emotions, right? And we're still supposed to validate them, right? And now they have more power than they've ever had. I just realized I was wearing this inside out. Something that I mentioned in some of my videos recently is, you know, I used to have a lot of these debates with people back in the day. I used to really challenge them about this shit. I used to really be all about, okay, let's have a conversation about this, let's debate this shit. But what I've recognized, especially at this point in the timeline, is sometimes people always do the thing.
And this goes back to, if you listen to my should play this, what I was talking about with Jay. Because a bitch is tired. And I feel like we're wasting our time. And I was talking about with my friends in our group chat that for the past 30 years we have been teaching and educating, and for the past 15 years Like we teaching the people about colorism. We teaching people about racism in a new.
All right, I'm going to bed. I'm tired, and I don't feel right. Like my body hurts. I don't know why. Hope I'm not getting sick. Y'all have a great night. I will see y'all maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Sometime this weekend, but we'll see. Y'all have a great weekend. See y'all soon.